Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We want to chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Let's see, what do we have today? It's National Nurses Day. Yes, we love our nurses. And yes, if you are a nurse, of course, that goes for any one of the heroes. Military, nurses, teachers, first responders. We got a discount for you on Ron Siegel Radio for any loans that we do for you. So National Nurses Day is today. National Beverage Day. I don't know. Josh, do we have... Okay, those look like they're all very, very benign beverages. No libations in those beverages. Okay. Although the one there, if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv on the far down the middle, looks like that might be orange juice. And if it is, we can throw some vodka in there and make it a little bit tastier. National Crepe Suzette Day. I like crepe Suzette. Yeah, and don't find too many places making that one. But if you haven't beaten anorexia, crepe Suzette. Also, it's not going good. That would not be a good one to go with my weight loss journey. Yes, we do still deal with the very, very affordable weight loss products. If you want more information on that, rsrlinks.com/shot, rsrlinks.com/shot. And one that doesn't get near enough discussion, but it is moving up on the list. Today's National Skilled Trades Day. And coming from somebody, who does not have, two of my three kids are not really what you would call college material. And I love them, amazing. I mean, they're the reason I do what I do. But not everybody is college material. And right now, skilled trades in many, many instances make way more money than people who are going to college. And they have far less debt. So that's a big issue right there. National Skilled Trades Day. Let's see what the markets are doing today. Well, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That one is up 526 points. Yeah, we like that. The NASDAQ is up 381. The S&P 500 is up $81. 81 points. It's not dollars, 81 points. Oil down $6.86 a barrel. Yeah, we like that one. And gold, well, gold's up $127 an ounce, 46.83. We're watching that one. The 10-year Treasury's down 7 basis points, 4.35. And the mortgage bond is up 35 basis points. Remember, bond up, rates down. It's just mathematics. Why is all this happening? Well, it's all got to do with what's going on in the Middle East. Well, you watch gold oil prices down 682. It's not going to help us in California. $6.16 is the average for a gallon of gasoline. 453 is the 453 is the national price of a gallon of gasoline. Yeah, we get the Gavin premium. And if you were watching any of the debates, yeah, they want to blame everything that's going on here on President Trump. Once again, as normal, California not taking responsibility for our own, bum ways. So 616 is the average for a gallon of gasoline here. And I just paid at Costco yesterday, I think $6.15 at Costco. So not good news in California. Josh is still over there, about 510, 505, give or take, over there in Nevada. And even Hawaii is significantly less than we are in California. It's all got to do with the Middle East. And there is that peace plan or peace proposal that is out there making the rounds. I would say, once again, I have said this many, many times. If you are thinking about buying a house, this is a time that you want to be looking at those numbers, because the markets always overreact, always. So when we watch these things, peace plan is being circulated. I'm going to say, okay, I'm glad it's being circulated. You got to get to step one before you get to step two. But the markets overreact to this news. And what we know for sure is the Iranians are very, very good at delay tactics. So they like the idea that there's no ships going through because the president halted Operation Epic Freedom, which was helping ships go through the strait. We do still have that blockade on the strait, so Iran's not getting anything through there, and they want 48 hours to watch and see what goes on over there. So, again, what will end up happening if history repeats itself is we'll get nowhere. But we got to start. Eventually, we're going to get somewhere with this. Will it be this time? I don't know, but we'll see. I can tell you this, just in my opinion, we've got the big bureau jobs report coming out this week. And I'm going to tell you that when the jobs report comes out, I believe that we're not going to get a miss. So the jobs we're forecasting, or the forecast on the street, 60,000 non-farm payrolls. I bet it comes in over 100,000. Now, is it just guesswork or is it some reality? Well, they expected to have 99,000 was the forecast for ADP jobs today. Came in at 109,000. So that one was a miss on the above side. I think we're going to get a miss on the non-farm payrolls. That's the bigger number. That's the one that'll come out on Friday. So we'll be watching that. If it was me, I'd be locking anything possible before Friday. Now, again, if we get some good news on the Iran front, that can offset what we see on these payroll numbers. So on the jobs numbers. So we'll watch all of it, and we're going to talk more and more about that. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, from stuck on the sidelines to closing on the right home without timing the market, the secret to selling fast no matter the market, the real reason most mortgages cost more than they should has nothing to do with the rate. And I used to think paying off the house early was smart. Then we did the math. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. Don't have a mortgage calculator? rsrlinks.com/calculators, rsrlinks.com/calculators. Got them all there for you for free. There's about 70 of them right there. And all you need to do is go there and get them. Again, we offer them to you, no cost. What did rates do yesterday? Okay, Josh is throwing me a curveball here on the FHA rate. We got a conventional 30-year fixed, 6.382. That one was up. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 6.461. That one was down. The FHA 30-year fixed has a green arrow. It's down. Okay. So 6.12, that was down. VA 30-year fixed, 5.964. That was up. And the USDA 30-year fixed, 6.0545. That one was up. Those are all the Cinco de Mayo rates. So, and again, OBMMI doesn't tell us points paid, points received. That's just what you put in that mortgage calculator. You want to know our thoughts about the market? Join the community, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. That's the Ron Siegel Radio community, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. Rates today, S&P 500 is up 82.11 points. 10-year Treasury is down 7 basis points, 4.35. And the mortgage bond is up 33 basis points. We like that. Remember, bond up, rates down, 33 basis points. That's nice to see. So why is that happening? That's what we all care about. Well, it's all because oil prices are down sharply, stocks and bonds rallying on a report from Axios that the U.S. and Iran are the closest they have been to a peace deal. The U.S. backed off Operation Freedom, where they were escorting a few ships through the Strait of Hormuz, and has proposed a one-page, 14-point peace plan to Iran. Iran has confirmed they are reviewing it, and the U.S. expects a response in the next 48 hours. The deal would declare an end to the war and the start of a 30-day period of negotiations on a detailed agreement to open the strait, limit Iran's nuclear program, and lift U.S. sanctions. Iran's restrictions on shipping through the strait and the U.S. naval blockade would be gradually lifted during the 30-day period. Additionally, if the negotiations collapse, the U.S. would be able to restore the blockade or resume military action. Iran proposed a 5-year moratorium on nuclear enrichment, but the U.S. demanded 20 years. The duration of the moratorium on uranium enrichment is being actively negotiated, with some sources saying that the landing spot would be at least 12 years. Lastly, President Trump says Iran will be bombed at much higher level if they don't agree to the deal. Where have we heard that before? Over and over and over again. Market is taking the news and running with it with optimism that this time a deal will be reached. Remember, the markets always overreact. ADP released their April employment report showing that there were 109,000 jobs created, which was stronger than most estimates, but there was a wide range between 84 and 120,000. The labor market is showing some signs of rebound from the bottoms, but there were some cracks within this report. Small businesses added 65,000 jobs, was the strongest part of the job growth, but Nella Richardson from ADP said the majority were part-time and lower paying. Additionally, 56% of jobs, or 61,000, came from education and health services. These are not economically sensitive, and the healthcare signs are a sign of the aging demographic in the U.S. This has been the biggest source of job growth over the last year by a wide margin. Turning to wages, workers staying at the same job saw their wages increase by 4.4% year over year, which was 1/10 lower than the previous report. Job switchers, or those changing jobs, saw their pay increase 6.6% from last year, which was unchanged. Bottom line, job growth has been showing some signs of improving, but there is still at relatively weak levels, especially when factoring quality and the fact that most are coming from education and health services. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So let's take a look. We've got a Mortgage 101 for you today. Mortgage 101, brought to you by, what do we have there, Josh? Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/keysteps. rsrlinks.com/keysteps. What if I told you the biggest financial mistake most homeowners make has nothing to do with the rate on their mortgage, but with where they let their money sit every single month? Stick with me, because what I'm about to share could change how you think about every dollar that hits your bank account. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And then on today's show, we're going to talk about a different kind of mortgage, one that turns your home into a financial tool instead of a financial trap. It's called the Wealth Builder Loan. Here's the picture for most folks. You have a 30-year mortgage. You make a payment once a month. That payment gets split between principal and interest. The bank calculates your interest based on the full balance you owe, and they collect that interest whether your checking account is full or empty. Meanwhile, your paycheck hits your bank account on the first. It sits there. It might earn you a tiny bit of interest if you're lucky. Then bills come out, and by the end of the month, most of it is gone. That money worked hard for you for about 30 seconds. So here's the question. What if every dollar that landed in your account started reducing the interest you owe on your home starting the very next day? That is the Wealth Builder Loan. It's what we call a first lien HELOC. In plain English, it's a line of credit that takes the place of your traditional mortgage. Your home secures it just like a regular loan. But the way it behaves day to day is completely different. Here's how it works. Your paycheck sweeps into the account. The balance you owe drops. Interest is calculated on whatever you owe today, not on your starting balance. Then when bills come due, you pay them out of the same account, and the balance climbs back up. Every dollar that sits in that account, even for a day, is working against your interest charge. You might be thinking, Ron, this sounds like I'm locking up my money. The opposite. You can pull cash out anytime during the draw period. You're not paying down a mortgage and praying you don't need that money back. The cash stays liquid. That checks every single box on what I call the safety, liquidity, and return framework. Your money is safe. It stays liquid. And you're getting a return in the form of interest you don't pay. Let me tell you about a family I'll call the Andersons. They had a comfortable income, a 30-year fixed mortgage at a respectable rate, under 3.5%, and a chunk of equity built up. On paper, everything looked fine, but every month, money sat in their checking account, doing nothing while they paid full interest on their loan. We sat on a Zoom call. We looked at their household blended interest rate. That's the average rate. They were paying across every debt in the house, weighted by balance. We mapped out where the dollars were actually flowing. And then we looked at what would happen if those same dollars were reducing their mortgage balance every single day, instead of sitting idle until bills came due. The math told the story, and here's something I want you to sit with. In most of the scenarios I have run for clients, the effective interest rate ends up below 2%. Yes, I said it, below 2%. Not the note rate, the effective rate, which is what you actually pay over the life of the loan once you account for every dollar sweeping in and out of that account. And in most of those scenarios, the loan is paid off in 8 to 10 years, not 30. Again, 8 to 10 years, with your money still sitting liquid in your account the whole time. Now, here's where I have to stop and remind you of something important. Strategy beats rate always. I don't care what rate someone is offering you. If your money isn't working in the right place, the rate is just a headline. The strategy is what builds wealth. There's also a difference between being eligible for a loan and that loan being suitable for you. Eligibility is just credit, income, and equity. Anyone can run those numbers. Suitability is whether this strategy actually fits your life, your goals, and your timeline. That's what a certified liability advisor does. We don't just check boxes, we build a plan. Here's what the Wealth Builder loan is not. It's not magic. It's not a way to skip paying for your house. It's not for everyone, and there are real guardrails. There's a minimum credit score. There's a reserves requirement. It's not available in every state. There are some property types that don't qualify. So before you start dreaming, you need to know if it fits your picture. If you want to dig into the full program, the credit line phases, the draw period, the eligibility tiers, all of that is laid out at rsrwealthbuilder.com. That's rsrwealthbuilder.com. Read it, study it, share it with your spouse at the kitchen table. But here's what that page won't tell you. Whether this strategy actually fits your life. That conversation happens on a Zoom call with us. Go to rsrlinks.com/bookrs30. That's rsrlinks.com/bookrs30. We'll walk through your goals, your budget, your timeline, and where your dollars are flowing today versus where they could be working tomorrow. We'll tell you if the Wealth Builder is right for you or if a different strategy fits better. No pressure, no pitch, just clarity. rsrlinks.com/bookrs30. Make the call, build the plan, then build wealth. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and financial markets. When we come back, from stuck on the sidelines to closing on the right home without timing the market. And I used to think paying off the house early was smart. Then I did the math. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Should I just wait? That's the question I'm hearing more than any other right now, and I get it. The headlines are loud, the news is mixed, and sitting on the sidelines feels safe. But here's what most folks do not realize. A lot of your neighbors are not waiting at all. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Let me show you what is actually happening in the housing market right now. Not what people are afraid is happening, what is really happening. Pending home sales are up 1.5% from last month. That number comes straight from the National Association of Realtors. Pending sales are the homes that just went under contract. Real people, real paperwork. Real buyers picking out paint colors and packing boxes. And mortgage applications up 21% compared to the same time last year. That is from the Mortgage Bankers Association. 21% more families are walking into a lender's office, getting pre-approved, getting to be certified buyers, and going house hunting than were a year ago. That is a huge jump. So here's the question I want to flip on its head. If everybody is supposedly paralyzed by the news cycle, why are pending sales going up? Why are mortgage applications jumping double digits? Because real buyers and real sellers do not make life decisions based on what is trending on TV. They make decisions based on their own life. A baby on the way, a new job in another city, aging parents who need them closer, a growing family that does not fit the same square footage anymore, a retirement they have been working toward for 30 years. Life does not pause because the talking heads are nervous. So when somebody comes to me and says, Ron, should I just wait? Here is what I tell them. The right time to move is not based on the market. It's based on your situation. That right there is the difference between eligibility and suitability. Eligibility is what most lenders stop at. They pull your credit, look at your debt to income, and tell you yes or no. Done. Next file. Suitability is a deeper conversation. Should you buy this house with this loan at this point in your life, given everything else going on? That is the question a certified liability advisor is built to answer, and it matters far more than whatever rate is flashing on the screen this week. Now, let me get practical with you. If you've been on the fence, you do not need to make a decision today. You really don't. But you do need a plan, because waiting without a plan is not a strategy. Waiting without a plan is just hoping things get easier, and life rarely works that way. Here's what a real plan looks like. We get on a Zoom call. We look at where you are right now, income, savings, existing debts, tax picture. We look at where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. We map out your safety, liquidity, and return picture. We figure out how much house you can comfortably afford, not just how much you qualify for. There is a big difference between those two numbers. Then we run the strategy. Strategy beats rate always. I will say it again because this is the most important thing I can tell you today. Strategy beats rate always. A great rate on the wrong house with the wrong loan structure is still the wrong move. A solid plan with the right loan product and the right exit strategy will beat that so-called great rate every single time over the life of the loan. So if you have been telling yourself, I'll just wait until things calm down, I want you to ask yourself one question. What if things never calm down the way you're picturing? What does that cost you in life, in time, in equity you could have been building, in the neighborhood you wanted, in the school district you wanted for your kids, in the memories you would have made in that home? Waiting has a price too. Most folks never put a number on it, but it is real. The buyers and sellers who are moving right now, they are not reckless. They are not gambling. They are not ignoring the headlines. They sat down with somebody who walked them through their numbers, helped them see the full picture, and gave them a plan that works for today. That can be you too. You just need the same starting point. So here's what I want you to do. If buying a home is on your radar this year, even if you're not totally sure yet, I want you to put a resource in your hands. Go to rsrlinks.com/HBG. That's rsrlinks.com/HBG. It's my home buyer's guide, free, no strings. It walks you through every step, the questions you should be asking, what to expect along the way, and how to know if moving is the right call for your situation. rsrlinks.com/HBG. Grab it, read it. And when you have questions, set up a Zoom call with me. We'll look at your numbers together and figure out whether now is the time or whether actually and waiting actually makes sense for you. Either way, you'll walk away with a plan, and a plan beats wondering every single time. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Borrow Smart segment today. being brought to you by rsrwealthbuilder.com, rsrwealthbuilder.com. By the middle of April last year, more than 117 million Americans filed their tax returns. Every one of them made choices about credits and deductions, whether they realized it or not. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And today I want to talk about something most people only think about once a year, but that quietly shapes your wealth every single month. The tax code. Now, before I go any further, let me say what I always say. I am not your tax professional. Nothing I share today is tax advice for your specific situation. Talk to a CPA, but I do want you to walk away understanding two ideas that change how you think about money, credits and deductions. And here's something to chew on before we get into them. There is one tax code in this country, but there are two tax systems. One system for the informed, one system for the uninformed. Same rules, same pages, same IRS. The difference is whether you know what is in there. The informed pay less because they know what to look for. The uninformed pay more because they never asked the question. Today, we're going to move you a little closer to the informed side. A credit is a powerful one. A credit comes off your tax bill dollar for dollar. You owe Uncle Sam $10,000 and you qualify for a $2,000 credit. You now owe $8,000. Simple. There's some real ones worth knowing. The child tax credit can be worth up to $2,200 per qualifying child under 17. The American Opportunity Credit can put up to $2,500 back in your pocket for college tuition, 4 years per student. And if you pay someone to care for a child under 13, the Child Independent Care Credit can be worth up to $4,000 for one qualifying person or $8,000 for two or more. That is real money. And every one of these has income limits, so this is where a good tax professional pays for themselves. Now, deductions. A deduction is different. A deduction lowers the income that gets taxed in the first place. If you make $100,000 and you take a $10,000 deduction, the IRS calculates your tax on $90,000. So a deduction is worth your tax bracket. A credit is worth its full face value. Both save you money. Credits just hit harder per dollar. Here are the deductions most families forget about. Charitable giving, when itemized, can include cash, the fair market value of property you donate, miles you drive for charity, even out-of-pocket costs you eat while volunteering. Most folks just hand the receipts to the accountant and never think twice. Retirement accounts. The 2026 IRA contribution limit is $7,500. If you are 50 or older, it climbs to $8,600. Money you set aside in a traditional IRA can come off your taxable income today. And remember, once you hit 73, the IRS makes you start taking required minimum distributions that is taxed as ordinary income. So the planning matters. Medical and dental costs above 77.5% of your adjusted gross income. Most years that does not move the needle, but in a heavy medical year, it can be a meaningful break. Now here's a deduction I want to spend the most time on. Mortgage interest. If you meet the rules, the interest you pay on a loan secured by your primary or secondary home may be deductible. Again, the interest you pay on a loan secured by your primary or secondary home may be deductible. The U.S. tax code is literally subsidizing your mortgage, and most people do not factor that in when they make decisions about their loan. Here's what I see all the time. A family comes to me panicked about their rate. They want to throw every spare dollar at the mortgage to pay it off early. They've heard their whole life that being mortgage-free is the goal. So they drain their savings, skip the retirement match, and aim every bonus check at the principal. Then I sit down with them and ask one question. What does that decision actually cost you? Because if your mortgage rate is, say, 6.5%, and you are in a tax bracket where that interest is deductible, your real after-tax cost of that loan might be closer to 4.5%. Now you tell me, where else can you borrow at that rate? Where else can you put that money where it stays liquid, growing, and accessible when life happens? This is the difference between eligibility and suitability. Eligibility is whether the bank will give you the loan. Suitability is whether that loan at that rate with that strategy fits the life you're trying to build. A regular loan officer asks if you qualify. A certified liability advisor asks if it is the right move. And this is where the household blended interest rate comes in. That's the rate you actually pay across all your debt and all your obligations, weighted properly after the tax code does its job. It's almost always the number that matters, not the headline rate. So here is your homework this week. Pull last year's tax return. Look line by line at where credit showed up and where deductions saved you money. Then ask yourself a simple question. Am I making decisions about my money based on what I owe before tax or after tax? Because those are two very different numbers. And one of them is the one that pays you for your life. If you've never had someone walk through your full picture, your loans, your tax position, your liquidity, and your goals all in one conversation, that is exactly what we do. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. Get your financial house in order. Then book a Zoom call with our team, and we'll help you build a plan around the strategy that fits you, not the rate. Book that Zoom call, rsrlinks.com/bookrs30. It's rsrlinks.com/bookrs30. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrwealthbuilder.com. That's rsrwealthbuilder.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the secret to selling fast, no matter the market. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. When you put your house on the market, you don't just want it to sell. You want it to sell fast. But the thing is, nationally, it's taking a little longer to sell lately. And that slowdown can feel frustrating if you want a fast process. Here's what you need to realize. In every market right now, there's one clear exception. Well-priced, well-presented homes are still selling, and it's often faster than you'd expect. If you can tap into that, you can still set yourself up to move quickly too. Here's how to get it done. First off, you got to go and look. RS Salesmax, Josh, where's the rsrlinks.com/salesmax? rsrlinks.com/salesmax. We'll show you some strategies to sell your house as fast as possible. How long it takes to sell today. According to Realtor.com, homes are selling in about 52 days right now. That's how long the process takes from the day it hits the market until closing day. And while that may sound slow to you, it's not slow, it's normal. That's because it's pretty much right in line with what it was during the last normal years in the market. That'll be 2018 to 2019. And if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart of the number of days it takes to sell is back to normal. It just feels slow when you're eager to move, or when you think back a few years to when homes seemed to sell almost instantly. But here's what matters most. The market is normalizing, not at a standstill. This is the norm for timing from start to finish. You may have an accepted offer in hand even faster than this. Zillow says the typical home will go pending or under contract in 19 days. Some homes even see it happen in as little as 7 days. It just depends on where you are and how you prep your house. So don't let the slowing pace of sales stress you out. Homes can still sell fast if they're positioned right. Just to show you how, here's a quick look at some of the markets that are moving faster than the norm, according to Zillow. And yes, you are looking at a map. This will show you how different it can be based on where you live. The key things you need to remember when looking at this map or the visual, it varies a lot based on where you live. Within the same state, individual neighborhoods or pockets may sell much faster than the norm. Even in slower moving states, you can still sell quickly. As the map shows, in those places, there are still homes that go under contract in as little as a week. So don't worry about if your state made either list. As Orphe Duvangai, senior economist Zillow says, quote, the cream of the crop is still selling fast, even in the markets that have slowed considerably, unquote. And remember, rsrlinks.com/salesmax. Here's a big secret. While location can definitely play a role, it's not just about location, it's about strategy. Today's buyers are paying attention to condition. They're comparing photos, upgrades, layouts, location, and price. And they're choosing homes that feel move-in ready and well worth the value. The homes that check those boxes, they're not sitting for long no matter where they are. As the Wall Street Journal explains, quote, some homes are still flying off the shelves. These houses are often in the Midwest or Northeast, where the lack of new construction keeps a lid on supply. Certain homes in other markets are selling quickly too, often when a home is move-in ready. Because in any market, hot or not, if a home is overpriced, needs too much work, or just doesn't meet current buyer expectations, it's not going to sell. In this market, the sellers who win are the ones who get real about their house. They're honest about how their home compares to other listings, realistic about price, and they work with an agent who truly understands today's market and what it takes to sell. When your agent knows how to price strategically, spotlight the strengths of your home, and move quickly when the market gives clear signals, that's when the results follow. Bottom line, today's housing market rewards the right strategy because even in a slower area, the homes that are priced realistically and positioned well are still selling, sometimes faster than you expect. Got questions or want to know about your property? Give me a call, rsrlinks.com. Just give me a call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.